Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advance. This is a great matchup, a phenomenal matchup from the candidates 2024. This is with the white pieces, the current reigning world champion Gukesh, and with the black pieces, he's facing the world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura. And Hikaru and Fabiano's chances were a lot more in 2024 to win the candidates and to go and challenge in to become the world chess champions. But unfortunately, that did not happen. What happened was a young kid who had dreams, who worked hard all his life, was able to actually push through amongst all of them and was able to crush through because he had an amazing from the Olympiad, and then he crushed everyone in candidates. And in this position, he is facing Hikaru Nakamura, and I mean, you're facing the world's best, so you have to understand even a draw would be very nice because he can push for someone. If he gets a chance, definitely he's going to be pushing against Hikaru as well. But if he doesn't have the chance, even a draw is fine in this. So let's see what he goes for here with the white pieces. He goes for e4. We have c5 by Hikaru. Hikaru is ready for a fight. We have knight to f3, g6, and c3. This is the Sicilian hyper-accelerated dragon variation. d5 now, and you could trade, but I don't think so anyone would want to. It's just e5, and now just bishop to g4. And in this, Gukesh chose to go for a move like bishop to b5. What happens if you go for d4? Well, if you go for d4, his c captures, and after move like e6, just going for this very nice setup in the center. And in this position, what you'd like to do is just bishop to b5, check, knight blocks and castles, and your position would be absolutely fine. And yeah, both of the people are absolutely fine, but anyone who's pushing for a win and trying to go for anything is just definitely white. But after bishop to g4, hey, bishop to b5 check was played. Immediately going for knight to c6, we have bishop captures, b captures castles, and now c4, not allowing white to push c4 and just gains access to that very nice center, and just d3 challenging those pawns, c captures, queen captures, and just bishop captures on f3, queen captures on f3, bishop to g7. And I think Hikaru here with the black pieces is also fine with the draw because the way he's been trading pieces, I mean, you don't do that if you want to win this position. A queen to e2 was played, queen to c7, and now just comes this rook to e1, e6 now, and just b4. And you could go for a move like instead of b4, you could go for a move like c4, trying to challenge that center. But the thing is that you give advantage to black here because black will just go knight to e7. You don't have an immediate threat, so knight to d2, castles b3, and now after going for rook f to d8 now and bishop to b2, now you just go a5, and a4 is coming, and anyone who's pushing for something in this position would definitely be black, and you don't want to give that to Hikaru, and definitely of a person of Hikaru's caliber basically. But after e6 here, b4 was played, and now just comes knight to e7, knight to d2, knight to c8, and now just going for c4. And here castles was played by Hikaru, finally just getting his king to safety on move 15. A bishop to b2, but just a5, just challenging those pawns. a3 now, a captures, rook captures on a1, rook captures. So here Gukesh would definitely for the time being enjoying his open 5, and here just d captures on c4, knight captures, knight to b6 was played, asking for a knight trade. And you could trade, or you could go for this knight to d6, but if you go for this knight to c6, it's very, very complicated. It's like, you want to push for a win with the white pieces, so that's the move you play. You try to create complications. I don't think it would have worked against Hikaru, but still, I mean, you can try to push for something in this position. It's most likely a draw, but hey, you're going to have to find all of these moves. Say queen to b8, b5. Now you just trade rook to a5. You play rook to b5 now, just getting that pawn as well. Rook to b8, and after g3, making some room for your king because you don't want any background weaknesses later in the future. After knight to d5 now, getting that knight to a very nice beautiful square of d5 square. I mean, this knight is absolutely phenomenal. But here just rook captures on b8, queen captures, queen to f3 now, and you can see that you're giving up a piece, but your king is very, very weak, and I don't think so anyone would go for it. Definitely not Hikaru. But if you capture this, let me show you that you're just getting checkmated in 3 moves. King to h8, queen to e8, check, bishop blocks, and queen captures would be checkmate. So all of this is there in the position, but no one would go for the piece here in this position. You would actually want to defend, and you can do that in numerous ways in this position, and everything would be fine. You can go for queen to c7, you can go for queen to a7, you can also play queen to f8, a passive move like that, but still all of the variations just go for a draw. But after knight to b6, we have knight caps on b6 here, just trading the knights, not going for anything crazy. Queen captures, bishop to c3, and now just finally going for queen to b5. And the thing is that if you trade here, I mean, still it's a draw. If you don't trade, still it's a draw. If you go for rook to a5, then the thing is that rook to b8, you play h4, trying to make some not getting that checkmated ideas. Rook to c8 now, and after bishop to d4, you play h5, rook caps on b5, rook to c4, and after bishop to c5, you capture this pawn. So you have traded this pawn for this pawn, and here you most likely are controlling the queening square, so that pawn will fall eventually, but most likely this game is going to end in a draw. But here after queen to b5, we have queen to e4 by Gukesh, just centralizing the queen and trying to waiting and seeing if Hikaru maybe just blunders, but it's very rarely that in a position like this Hikaru would blunder. A rook to d8, just g3 was played, but now just comes bishop to f8, king to g2, and queen to b7. Both players playing waiting moves and saying to other, well, you want to draw, let's just go for it. A rook to c7, rook to d5 was played, but now just bishop to e1, h5, bishop to c3, and now just going for this bishop to e7, h4. Now bishop to f8, rook to a1, and bishop to e7. If you want to try for something in this position, would be definitely with the move like queen to f3. You're eyeing that, and maybe if you can get the rook somewhere along there, you might be able to do something, but it's just a long shot. I mean, I don't think so that's going to happen, but still, you can try it with this queen to d7. You play rook to a6, bishop to d8, and after king to h2, you play a move like bishop to e7, queen to e4, just again centralizing the queen, king to g7, king to g2, c5 now. And once you trade here in this position, you might be able to have some pressure, but it's just very difficult. How do you continue in this position? Rook is on a very nice square. Yes, your king is very safe in this position, and the bishop is also eyeing this, but I don't think you would want to play a move like g5 g4 in this position, because it weakens your king a bit too much. I don't think so you would want to allow that. Move like queen to f3 is fine again, but that's just inviting a draw. Rook to 8 is also fine. Rook to a5 is also fine. I mean, rook to 8 seems more natural to me, because you want to, maybe if you want to create more chances, that would be very nice. But after bishop to e7, hey, just rook to c1 was played by Gukesh. He is fine with the draw, and I think that's what he's going for. Bishop to f8, rook to a1, rook to b5, rook to c1, and just rook to b6 was played. Bishop to d2 now. Rook to a6, rook to c4, rook to b6, and a bishop to b3. Rook caps on b4, and just queen captures on c6, queen captures, rook caps on c6, and rook to b8 was played. And here just bishop to c5 was played, asking for a bishop trade. Bishop captures, rook captures, and just king to g7 was played. And it was on this move, on just move 40, that both players here agreed to a draw. And yes, it's a draw, and it seems boring, but the thing is that even the variations that they played, even in these drawish lines, are something that they prepared, and they teach you a lot more than other things, because candidates games, I mean, everyone takes it seriously, and everyone wants to play it to the absolute best of their abilities, and this is one such game. So definitely something that Gukesh tried to prepare against Hikaru, and that's why I wanted to show, because we are covering the entire saga, so I would want to just show all the games. I mean, it's a draw. That's absolutely fine. It's three result games. Not every time you're going to get like decisive scores. So, but yeah, definitely a very nice opening choice by Gukesh. He tried to create some chances, but Hikaru was already prepped in this somewhere along the line, and Hikaru was able to counter Gukesh with the white pieces. And next, he will be faced Ali Reza Firouzja. So that's going to be a very tough round for very tough round for Gukesh. So let's see how that goes. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these. So stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be able to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.